touchy.
I'm Banks.
I'm Joshy.
Together we are Odd Places going
Viralistic. So, Banks,
Yep.
do you have a statue of yourself anywhere?
No, I do not.
Really?
My mom has a light shadow profile of me when I was first grade.
Okay. But there's not like a statue of Banks out in your garden doing the old, with the water shooting out the mouth, or like the boy pissing into the pond? Or,
Of me, like a golden one of me.
or how about a bust? Do you at least have a bust of you? No?
No bust.
No bust.
Not interested.
You're bust free.
I am bust free.
Bustless.
Why do you ask? Do you have one?
Hell no. I don't have a statue.
Why do you ask?
Why would I want a statue of myself?
Do you think somebody else would want a statue of you?
I sure as hell hope not. That would be really weird.
Why? I mean, you were a bodybuilder. There's some people see some beauty in that, right?
I guess so, but I guess the reason I'm wondering is because we have statues of really horrific people in this country. We have statues of traitors, of insurrectionists. 2 of them just got taken down, by the way, today.
I heard about
in
that.
Charlottesville, I want to say, somewhere around there, or in Charlotte.
Let's talk about the traitor aspect. Who'd they take down? Lee?
Robert E. Lee and another person, Stephen something.
Okay, and you're saying that Robert E. Lee was an insurrectionist, right?
Yeah, pretty much self-admitted. You sure?
Okay.
Now he did have remorse afterwards, and he did not want statues up afterwards. He wanted to forget the entire Civil War. He didn't want to fly the Confederate flag anymore. So he had a lot of remorse afterwards.
Really?
But he was one of the generals of the new nation, Confederate nation.
The insurrection.
Yeah.
Kind of like where we are sort of in our lives now. I mean, in this country.
Right.
We're in another phase, another insurrection phase.
Correct.
Okay, so he didn't want it. People put it up. What do? They put him up to represent the Confederacy, correct?
Right, that 4-year little, what would you call it, like a shit stain in our country.
Yeah.
Tiny little shit stain.
Well, I mean,
we have monuments and monuments and monuments to this stuff in our country right now. Still.
Okay.
It's like Germany having statues of Hitler everywhere. It's like ridiculous.
Holy smokes! Wow.
How's that any different?
Maybe
not Hitler. How about Himmler? We'll just go with Himmler, not Hitler.
Well, do they have them?
No, they don't have any statues of Hitler. They're not fucking idiots.
Okay. Wow.
Why would you have a statue of Hitler? Why pay homage? Look,
why
statue's not about history. It's about homage. It's about reverence.
Okay, so then why did we have Lee's statue up? Why did we need to know? Why did we need
to remind black people that this is still a white country? That's the only reason we put statues up.
You think so?
Absolutely.
So that lets that.
You ever go into a field and you see a scarecrow?
Yes.
You're supposed to scare crows away?
Yes.
This is the white person scarecrow. It's
Did
a
you
reminder.
come up with that? Did you come up
I
with
just
that?
came up with that.
Oh, you just came up with that?
I just did, just now. But this is the white person scarecrow to keep blacks under control. Remember, slavery's not dead. The South will rise again. You've heard all this stuff.
I have. There's a Reconstructionist. I think this is called a Reconstructionist viewpoint, right? It's like rewriting history.
Yeah, it's a Reconstructionist. Yeah, I guess you could put it that way.
I think it's called they're Reconstructionist.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So it's basically to keep the status quo, to keep the South having power over a certain race of people. Correct?
Correct. It's keeping white people in control, in power.
Okay. Have you heard this argument, since we are talking about slavery, have you heard this argument that, wait a minute, and I heard this argument recently, the slave owners, the farmers nowadays put money into Jeeps and cars and their trucks and not their Jeeps, their machinery, and they do not mistreat their machinery. And the correlation was they would pay for great slave labor.
And they treated him really well.
And they that was the argument that I
Yeah.
was hearing, and I was just like, wow. I mean, that is an argument. That is an argument.
An argument for what? What is it? Please
That-
tell me what that's an argument for.
Okay, it's an argument to show that whites slave owners did not mistreat their slaves. There you go.
They owned another human being as a piece of property.
I agree. I mean, I'm just saying that I heard
mean,
that argument, and I was like, wow, this is a new
I
argument
wouldn't
to
call
me.
that an argument. I would call that a sentence. It definitely is a sentence. It's a statement. I wouldn't call that an argument. Argument almost implies that there's might be some validity to it, that there might be some justification to slavery within it.
But
Sorry,
there,
I
however,
don't see it.
There are people that do feel justification. I mean, white supremacy is
Right.
about this.
Okay.
You know, I mean, they have to argue that, or they have to push that.
Look, I'll hit them with I'll blow their argument out of the water, their statement out of the water, with the golden rule. If the tables were turned, would they consider that an argument? If they went to a country predominantly black and they were kept as property, but they were treated really well, would they see the same point of view? And that's the problem. They don't do that thought experiment.
I agree. In the same token, speaking of turning the tides, if Biden lost and the D's did the insurrection rather than the R's,
They wouldn't.
well, let's just
But let's say
just
they
go.
did. Okay,
Let's
hypothetically
let's
they
just
did.
go.
Okay.
Let's just go with this.
Okay.
Would let's say the right and the left, if the left lost and the left had the insurrection, would the right allow this?
Would the right allow what?
What's going on now with what the right is
Oh
doing?
no, of course not. Of course not. No, we would have more Confederate flags. I would imagine we would have more statues put up in homage of. Actually, we'd probably have new statues put up. We'd have Trump statues, just like Hitler had his stuff during his time. Now after the Holocaust, of course, there's no Hitler statues.
They took his statues down.
But Hitler had his own way of honoring himself. He loved the Nazi symbol. It was everywhere.
And that
Which
symbol-
he hijacked anyways from
Yeah.
other civilizations. I'm just thinking, like, if these traitors, these insurrectionists can have statues, I just thought maybe you would or I would. I don't want a statue, honestly, of myself.
Okay. Do you want someone else to have a statue of you?
Not really. Not really.
Why not?
I don't have that much ego, I guess. I don't have. No, please don't pray to me.
You think a statue is praying? Do you think they were praying to?
I think we're borderline. When we put someone on a pedestal, like literally put somebody on a pedestal. Yeah, it's a little weird.
because why? Because we're praying to somebody? You think it's prayer? Homage? How far away is homage from prayer? There we go.
Okay. In my mind, the problem with putting people on a pedestal is we do that, we only look at the good, we don't look at the whole person.
Okay.
So why not just take the concepts that they stood for, put that on a pedestal, learn from what they taught us, but the person themselves, they're just a person.
Okay. So we're all people,
Right.
basically.
Right.
So, are you saying that no one shall be put on a pedestal?
That's the first commandment. There should be no other gods before me, right?
Yeah, but do you believe that?
No, of course not.
Okay,
You have to believe in a God first.
So, I mean,
I don't believe in idols. We talked about idols before.
okay.
Same
okay.
thing.
So,
I don't idolize people.
okay. You do find merit in some people's
Of course.
what they
Their
do.
contribution.
Their contribution. What-
Yes, of course. And always remember their contribution.
Okay. So that is a person that has multifacets, and not everything is great about them. You know.
Right.
So you know that by knowing them. So how do you pay homage to somebody, or do you pay homage to somebody?
You actually read what they wrote, you listen to them, you take what they taught us, and we apply it, and we make things better. That's how you pay homage, right? Ignoring what they did, that's how you disgrace them.
I'm Banks.
I'm Josh.
Odd Places going
Viral.